Apple and Tesla doing the most relative volume in the pre-market session right now. Here comes Tesla 390. Can we hold? Can we break? I was looking at these 88s earlier, Neil, and that came in nice. There's the 390 breaking through right away. 391s. Can we see that? Wow, it's just straight through. Some of these opens are very, very directional, so it's just like you can't hesitate. If you hesitate for too long, it's gone. There it is, back down through 390s. Let's see if we sustain. That 400 could be interesting. With that amount of relative volume in the pre-market session, I'm curious to know, what are the ranges we make? What are the opening ranges? Because we know a lot of players like to play off of the opening ranges. And so let's find out what the opening range is, and then maybe we can make some decisions off of there. There comes the market, NASDAQ and ES back down to their lows. 663, 97 pre-market lows on the spider. Let's see if we can crawl a little bit lower there.
Crawling lower is what everything is seemingly doing right now. I just got in tomorrow. Tried to grab SMCI back through the lows. Trying to be patient, have that little trend that's the upside break. It just did. Gonna see if I can't get swept back up here. As big time turn happening. I just looked over at Apple. Apple just broke the low of the day. That was at 272 a couple of seconds ago. And now we're all the way down at 270. You got NVIDIA cracking through the volume weighted average price as well. Give me my second short. I did not get filled in SMCI. They just missed me. Just missed me. Pick me up. Only in tomorrow as the market's breaking low of the day. 180's coming in on NVIDIA. Yeah, the market doesn't look like we're going to be catching too much of a bid, at least not early.
Slow down, honey. Too fast, Trevor, too fast.
I know what I'm doing, Mom. Neil,
a new driver.
So what, 390? I couldn't really get there on 390s, but I'm just like, okay, well, if 390s are not going to go.
87 already?
Dude, it's at 85s. I got short 87s. I got short 88s on the back through. I was like, okay, well, 90. I'm not going to get 90. But can't be choosing when things are moving that quickly. You just have to be involved. You just got to get involved. Let's see if we can get this pre-market low. As of right now, 382s and some change I'm seeing here. Let's see. That's selling coming in pretty aggressively, both here on the ES and the NASDAQ. As we trail a little bit lower, can we see 382s? Sorry, 382s. Okay, you know what? I'm going to stay a little bit patient. I'm going to stay a little bit patient. Wait and see if they come in. But those pre-market lows, they could be a little bit of trouble. Market catching a little bit of a bounce here as well. 384 here on Tesla. So quick scalps. Sellers very, very dominant. Let me know what you guys are trading. There is one stock that is not seller dominant right now, and I'm watching it out of the corner of my eye. It's IONQ to the upside.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. Yes. If I had to pick a name that's actually strong, I don't think it would be in the quantum space this morning. That's for you know what, sure. But you know what? Good for them. Good for them. So Mara short, SMCI finally picked me up. I want low. It actually broke the low of the day, but I want to wait for a more definitive break there. Still have the eyeballs on Apple at that 270. It doesn't look like it's going to hold. Okay, watch out for the bid.
AMPG.
NVIDIA just caught a pretty hefty bid. That's the other stock. I always have NVIDIA up just to see what's going on. But NVIDIA just caught a bid at the low of the day. If we lose VWAP, that's a good place to re-enter some shorts potentially. So yeah, the market's at the lows. If NVIDIA fails this move up, then it's time to re-engage some of those shorts. Using them as kind of like a leader of the pack to be able to tell where the market is going to be going here. I know you're already on Tesla. The one name on my list that I didn't bring you. It's getting close. I said this one requires the most patience. SNDK. It's not even at 45 yet. It was 45 to 50 that I was looking for the fade. That's already bounced $10 off the open. I think it could go 15, 20 before reverting.
SLRX.
Yeah, so like I said, that selling came in pretty aggressively. I got short, what was it, 387.67?
APLX.
And then it dropped all the way down. That low, I mean, that is my price. You know, just getting lucky here. And it's all the way back in now. So I covered a decent chunk of the position as it went lower there. But 388's coming right back in. So this is what I mean. Things, when they get directional in this market, they can get very directional. And they can flip on a dime, too, there as well. So coming into those pre-market lows, I was like, can we see those 382s? And it rips right back through 384s. I'm just like, all right, well, if that's not going to happen right away, then I don't want it anymore. And those buyers are coming in right back through 388, 389. So we're probably going to go through 390s if this market continues to catch a bid. Look at the bottom weight happening here on the NASDAQ. Neil. So that bid is definitely coming in. Let's see who is the strongest of the bunch.
QBTS, WS, QPUX, RCAT, QUBX, CYPH,
Alphabet at its highs. Tesla's
APLX,
also strong as well. Apple not as
OKLL,
much. Amazon's just still within its opening range. Soft is just kind of, just a little soft.
NVIDIA is the one.
Just kind of chilling.
SWAG,
NVIDIA is the one.
NVIDIA's
IREX,
almost broken out that high. Almost. It's so close. 183 quarters or so, and then it's going to absolutely blow. But when that goes, I'm out of SMCI in like 2 cents. I'm out of Mara in like 3 cents. Actually, well, Mara just triggered. Oh, I don't want Mara.
QUBX.
All right.
CYPH.
I just scalped out of Mara. I did not want to be long that stock. Even if it goes, I don't want to be in it. But you just took out the top on NVIDIA. That means both Mara. That's probably a good long. But I just got stopped right there and was accidentally to the long side. But I'm jumping out. This was my litmus for the early move, was if NVIDIA broke out. And if it breaks out, I step away and wait for SNDK. This was the one yesterday that required by far the most patience. It's going parabolic into that 50. The range for me is right into 50 to 55. Right in here. When that reverts,
QPUX.
I think it can be a good one, but it's going to require a little bit of patience and a little bit more of a wider stop to trade this name. Market bounce in effect. Apple not really doing anything. Apple's actually still near those lows. So it's really more the chip names that are going up here, Obi, and showing that strength. You got Bitcoin at 96,000, so that's going to be in play as well. IBIT looking good, but I don't want to take my eyes off this SNDK as it's absolutely flying. Also, just a reminder to everybody, because we didn't do this enough yesterday, and I don't know if it's on behind me, is the visualizer. Anything you guys are interested in, it's not behind me. Anything you guys are interested in, be sure to type in $, like Justin in the chat, you're looking at SoFi, just go $ SoFi. And then you'll see it drop down, and we have an idea of what everyone's like hollering about. Meta, MSTR, Tesla, Circle, CDTX. CDTX is like a cash buy. You're probably not as interested in it as you think you are. That's all I will say.
AMZU,
221 cash, depending on, whatever. I won't get into it too much more.
IRE.
I didn't know. That's when I took my eyes off of
STUB,
as well. Sandisk,
SMUP.
Oh, it's
LRHC.
It is pushing
CABR.
Wow.
MLYS.
Yeah, the market very strong bid here. Tesla coming right back in, holding above those 390s now. So I'm waiting, I'm watching, and I'm curious to know. Can we get back to 400? That's well within range.
ABXL may res in 10 seconds.
$7.5
CYPH.
As of right now, as we trade around 392.
MTC.
On Tesla, what else do we got going on?
SGML.
Nothing too crazy, man. Nothing too crazy. Let's take a quick look at what you guys are talking about here in the chat as well. So we can have eyes on a lot of other stocks as well. So 392s, that strength is coming in. Maybe we get a reversion to 25,000 here on the NASDAQ today. I don't know. Last Friday, we came in pretty hot and heavy going into the end of the week as well. Strong sellers all week. And then guess what happened? Do you remember? Middle of the day, around roughly around, I think it was like 12 or like 12 or 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock. We got that beautiful reversion closing off the week last week with a nice bottom wick there as well. Seems like the bid is coming in a little bit earlier this week after a week of selling right off of the open, which is distinctly different from last week. But again, market's not always going to be the same. Sure, sometimes it feels like it's repeating, but you got to remember, maybe it's just rhyming. Right, so that consolidation range on Google, I'm watching this as well.
SLRX.
MSTR,
SGML.
Yeah, so I'm getting confused with the other one, Metsera from yesterday there. But 200 just holding as of right now, so nothing too crazy. I was looking at Coinbase when it came to crypto-related stocks today, still holding within its opening range. Some of these pre-market highs and lows as well. On Coinbase. So nothing too crazy in the crypto space. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin to see if it has any sort of volatile moves off of the open here. Coinbase. Check you guys out. 96,000.
IREX.
Okay, 96,000. We're kind of hopping around here on the Bitcoin. 95K hold. Let's see if that's going to come in interesting. I don't know if I have technicals on this specific chart. Let's take a quick look. I like to look at
here comes VWAP on the NASDAQ here.
VWAP may resume in less than a minute.
So we're at that point. Let's see that. We're filling in a bit of the gap. We're halfway to the big resistance, which is at 25. So if we're saying be patient, like the first shot is here for reversion, and that'll be VWAP, As I said, for the NASDAQ, call it 2483 on the NQ. End up in WDC and NSDK right at the 250 level. So 55 is kind of like the bigger level up here, but I want to be in this one, giving it a little bit early, and then wait for the 55. I'll give it a couple bucks here, and then wait for the 255 level in earnest, as this one's going a little bit more than WDC. Well, this chart's jacked on WDC. But WDC is holding 57, so I got 56 in front of 57 there, and then taking the shot at the 250 level on Sandus. This is the one that I like the most for a reversion trade. So I feel like this is the one I want to get 2 or 3 shots here today. And the reason is simple. There's all kinds of other names in the space that have gone. This one easily the most volatile and easily the biggest drawback and the biggest parabolic move. So I think it has the most potential for any kind of reversion. As I said, I will take 3 shots at it, but I'm never letting it get through my stop without jumping out. So I'm going to short 50 to 52, but if we end up top wicking, I'm jumping right back into this trade, and I'll take shots as long as it's under 255. But if we blow this market out, which is what's happening, if we blow this out through VWAP, that's a pretty big move. It's 150 points until you get to next resistance. So you got to be careful here. Just stay nimble. That's what it's all about. Micron would be another example as well, but you can only look at so many things at one time.
Yeah, so many things at one time. This Tesla getting back involved with this 390. Oh my God, are we going to print 390 once again? Okay, this thing is getting really, really volatile. Like I said before, when it loses the bid, when it gets correctional, when it gets directional. Correctional is what I'm looking for of the price when I feel like the price is mispriced a little bit there. Correctionals is what I'm looking for. But yeah, no, 390 coming back in. Nice little pullback of this consolidation near the highs as of right now on Tesla. So going to be a little bit nimble here with this one. Again, with the market, with the way it is right now. Don't forget, VIX is at 20s. We got to be a little bit wary. Things can get a little choppy and a little aggressive. So you got to take what she gives you, and you can't ask for more. Mother market is rarely forgiving, and when you're forgiven on a position, or you're in a good position and it's getting a little choppy, I think it's well worthy to kind of assess what's the range on the stock. Are we going in the direction that I'm looking for, or are we doing a lot of chop within a range as well, right? You don't want to get stuck in that no man's land, getting chopped up for no reason. So I'm gonna take that off right there. That was a nice little scalp. We pulled back into 390s, holding some of that opening range high structure as well. That 390, I'm going to treat it as a bit of an over-under. Okay, there's a bit of a bid coming in here on the NASDAQ and the ES, maybe closing this 15-minute candle with some strength with only about a minute left here, Neil. And this is the first 15 minutes of the day. And this is absolutely crazy, absolutely wild.
You get that crazy bounce, and we're still heading higher. Just sort of Randy was asking us how things are going. I'm like, look, the NASDAQ is still 1, but the ES is under 1% to the downside. NVIDIA is about to go green on the session, and this is that euphoric bounce. 15-minute hasn't even closed yet, so there's still plenty of time here. I know we haven't really talked too much about crypto. I'll go there quickly before I get to what is actually the #1 name on our list right now, which is Meta. You haven't even filled in the gap from last night on IBIT. Same thing when I look at Mara. So in the effort of like being patient, like look at Mara. You know what? I actually, Mara's still good. That's annoying. It's a good thing I got out of that accidental long. If you ever find yourself in an accidental position, just punch right out. Because that punch out probably saved me. This one's still looking like it's a bit of a short here on Mara. Interesting, when I went over to the chip names, this one's still set up. So be careful, everybody. That 15-minute bar is now finally closing, and you're going to get some more of an idea of where we can head. If we have another one green, then you got to join the party. And the party seems to be in NVIDIA right now. As much as I know a lot of people are looking at Meta, somehow that's top of the list. Meta's not doing anything. Like Meta is just consolidating underneath the bottom. I know there's a lot of people interested in having this probably close above 600 bucks, but you know, that's not the one moving. It's a chip name moving the most, so that's where I want to stay focused in. It's chips and crypto at this point. You know, Bitcoin, Mara, whichever one you like.
BEX.
Yeah, I'm watching some of these names here as well, like Apple caught a bit of a strong sell, and we've been noticing that Apple is acting a little distinctly differently. I think it was yesterday that it was running like crazy here. Let's take a quick look at what I'm looking at. So Apple, distinctly different from the rest of the market. Let's just go down to a 15-minute chart. I'm going to clean up this chart here as well. We do not need all of those indicators today. But yeah, coming into some of the zone here, look at this chop yesterday. Beautiful reversion came in yesterday as well. But you know, the market sold off of the open pretty aggressively, and Apple was one of the only ones that was distinctly different. So I was asking the question watching this bid. I was like, oh my God, why are you running? Where are you running? I have no idea.
Higher.
RGTU.
Much higher, and then reversion came right back in, joining alongside with the market sell-off once again. So I think I did a little well participating in that. Can definitely be doing a little bit better as well. But bigger picture continuation happening right now on Apple with that 270.
Do you see that super chat?
Yes, sir. Okay, so thank you, Day Trader LA.
My.
QUBT.
You know what? There's my favorite saying in the world. It is okay to be wrong. It is not okay to stay wrong. If you were bearish at
QUBX. RGTU.
the open, you better not be in position right now, is all I got to say. Have a look at QUBT. Not just up, 9%. 9%. What is what are we even doing? What's Rigetti doing right now?
Remember, I told you that these were doing the most volume in Blue Ocean last night. Rigetti was doing the most, IONQ, and then IREN for some reason, but Rigetti was doing an aggressive amount of volume, unnatural, off in the first hour of Blue Ocean. So that's 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
RGTX.
That's pretty. We got another one. This is just DGen retail bounce. Be careful. Look, I'm staying patient with it. Like at the end of the day, like if you were looking for, like I mentioned in IBIT or even like anything in crypto, like IBIT hasn't even come back in to play that prior high. You know, like I'm looking at ETHA as well. We set off the open. Like that's filling in some of the gaps, but like, come on, you're not even. We're at 32. 32 half is resistance, so it's still a ways from that resistance level. So there's still a lot to watch. But what's interesting to me is, as those are breaking out, Mara is still kind of chilling and hasn't even gotten to the prior day high, prior day lows. So the reversion just might have to wait. I think you could have a little bit more upside here, and I'll wait for the turn a little bit closely on particularly Mara. Still want to have SanDisk up there as well. NVIDIA just got green. Let's see if it can hold it.
Sure. And now for some exciting news out for Canada for the sophisticated traders on the stream.
Ooh, nice.
Beta Pro by GlobalX Canada, Canada's largest provider of leveraged inverse and inverse leveraged ETFs, has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs, offering 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P, TSX 60, semiconductors, and on U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st of 2025. Plus, the U.S.-focused strategies use currency hedging, offering the potential for purer performance and exposure. If you are a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3x daily to learn some more. Yeah, that quantum, man, the quantum's catching a bit of a bid aggressively with the rest of the market. I'm watching this Tesla as well. That 390 hold, yeah, what a great reason to buy. I'm glad I got out of there as aggressively as I did, because I was just like, if we're going to bounce off of opening range like that, the short is definitely not on. And we push a little bit higher for some highs towards 396s. Neil, that 25,000, bit of a magnet, seems like it's well within range now here on the NASDAQ. I don't know if it's going to get there or not. I have no idea. I wish I could, just ask my crystal ball or, the magic 8 ball, but I don't think, I'm pretty sure that's not how things work. That's pretty sure not.
What is Randy doing over there?
Randy, what's up?
NUAI.
GAUZ.
How's it going?
RGTX.
396 is
just a headline
here on Tesla. So Tesla's coming in with that strength, man. What's the headline?
No, there was just a headline about it was rare earth metals and some shortages. I think Adair's going to have it. I just had it in my ear a couple of seconds ago. Ooh, I like that. I've never seen this before. Okay. That's a new one. Most viewers on your channel. Oh, when we pull. I had to look over to be able to see, and then you take it away before I could even read it. Oh, it's gonna be like that's cold-blooded. That's okay. I think we need to go to Adair for that news, maybe.
BEX.
No?
SONN.
Okay. To Adair?
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Button typo, but we want to talk here about rare earths because I'm seeing some reports suggesting that China's export controls on rare earths, titanium, causing shortages and raising prices for users in aerospace and chip making. So not like directly policy related, just more kind of the impacts of these export controls on rare earths. If I get more, though, as always, you guys will be the first to know. Back to you.
AMZE.
Thank you. Thank you as always, Adara. See, because like now I just really want to see what that accidental button hit was again. No, I was curious. That's all. So waited for.
Let's see what it was. Was it?
What is going on?
Was that
here?
the button?
What are these two doing over there?
These are not the button. You guys are on.
Can you guys just hug it out, maybe?
SONN.
Or do an arm wrestle. Give the people what they want.
Give them some.
Like do an arm wrestle. Do the push-up chat. We have so much open space right now.
AMZE.
Oh yeah.
Do the right thing.
That reminds me. What's open door doing?
Open door's flying. Just very quickly here. You had a bit of a topping tail of 187 on NVIDIA. So if I'm using NVIDIA as my fuge, if you can come to my chart for a second.
AMPG.
There we go. There's 187. Waited for it. We had it short early. If we broke down and went crazy, but then looked for the short as you get that lower high. So NVIDIA's breaking tops. SMCI isn't.
Wow,
so that, at least for now, makes me like it. But as I said before, we're approaching that 25,000 level. And when is the next spot that I would look for shorts? When we get to 25,000. So until we got there, just no reason to force the way into anything. So we're at that big time spot. I see people talking about Micron in the chat. Obviously, all the chip names are going higher. Ooh, Apple's finally going. I don't have a breakout order on Apple, do I?
NUAI.
I don't. No. Yeah, Apple I like over. It was 272.15 is this prior support level, but there's no closes above. So Apple's actually still looking pretty bearish itself. Unfortunately, but the chip's going, the market is close to that 25,000 mark, everybody. That is the next key point that the NASDAQ has to get through.
And UAIW.
It's crazy. Like the market continues to catch a little bit of a bid, and Sharif just pointed out to me Micron going absolutely crazy. So I'm looking at my tech basket here. Sure, TSM is strong, SMH is strong, NVIDIA is strong, SMCI is strong, AMD is strong, Intel kind of catching a bid, but Micron is aggressively stronger. When it comes to ATR measurements, this one has done the most percentage of its ATR off of the open on the day. So I definitely am watching this one here, breaking prior day's highs. Prior day's highs came in just shy of 250 at 249.45s, and we're breaking that with some distinction here with the market tailwind. So this is what I'm saying. 25,000 is looking closer and closer here on the NASDAQ. This is where that aggressive selling kind of started off here in the morning session, all the way down from 25,000 consolidation down to 24,650, where we caught a bid off of the open there. Now, this is only the second 15-minute candle, which with just under 3 minutes left to finish printing, and we've gotten aggressive pushes here on a few of these chip names, but Micron's the one that's standing out to me the most, man. It is absolutely super strong. So you guys know what I like to do. I like reversions. I'm gonna be honest. I'm being patient. I see something that's hella strong, I start stalking that. I'm starting to wait. I'm starting to be patient. I'm looking for that distinctly different kind of price action here. So I did have AMAT here as well, but AMAT maybe not the best candidate for reversions because it's an earnings name and it's close to some key levels as well. So I'm going to be a little bit patient with AMAT there, but Micron, I'm going to pull this one up and see if
remember we're
can,
still a little away from 25.
Oh yeah, we're still a little bit away. So I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be watching this tape, looking for distinct difference. But yeah, let me know in the chat what else are you guys watching. I'm waiting for when the reversion may come.
I think
the
it's
bid
these quantum
is very much here.
I think it's the quantum names I'm seeing a lot of, but just to remind everybody, like we're not at 25 yet. We're still screaming into it. It's yesterday's lows. It's where we fell off in the morning on the NASDAQ. So that's kind of the big level. We've seen this, not to this extent percentage-wise, but we've seen this like many days this week. SMCI, I'm out. Always give it to that prior out, stop it out, wait for 36, potentially 36, wherever 25,000 line up is fine with me. But also got to start thinking about trend breaks and the 15-minute chart, which has been a little bit better. The 15 still looks pretty strong. So we're not setting up any trend breaks on the 15-minute. Everything seems to be being led by the chip names. Like you said, Micron, of course. Okay, Apple is going to do that close above. So my bid is going in on Apple, 272s. But NVIDIA is now at that resistance spot. Still very much crazy, crazy uptrend. Like I said, we've seen this and what it can look like before. Like, remember AMD the last couple of days? It's like, oh my goodness, that's not a short, that's not a short. And then you finally get that turn. Sometimes it's 10:45, other times it's like 10:15. But it's that second 15-minute bar where you get the opening range set that's going to prove otherwise here. So we'll see what happens with the market here. I do still like Apple. Apple back in the top of the range, 72s. So once we close above there, which we're going to do, barring something crazy in the next 3 minutes, look for the long to the next stage up, which would be about 74, 75 on Apple, where I know there's some people that like to short on Apple at 75.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at AMD now as well here, almost pushing up into that 250 mark. So Micron's at that 250. I'm going to be a little bit patient, let it chop around. Yeah, this could be the top potentially. We could pull right back into 242s. If that's the case, then that's going to be a mistrade for me. I'm looking for a little bit more here, and I'm going to be a little patient for that as well. The tech sector, or specifically the chips, the semiconductors, are very, very strong as of right now. So maybe even some lower highs could do it here. If we get a symmetrical move all the way down and we sell off just as aggressively as we've bid up, then that'll definitely be a little bit of a miss on my part. But Micron looking very, very strong. Let's take a quick look at some of these other names as well that I am watching. Where did my morning list go here? Okay, so all right, so I was watching XLV as well. If you guys know, this thing has been kind of strong over the past couple of days here with the market selling off. Maybe more than the past couple of days. This has had some aggressive strength here. We'll go straight up to an hourly chart so you guys can see this movement over the past couple of weeks. So we were trading down here in about 144s at the beginning of the month, and then the health sector did catch a bit of an aggressive bid all the way up to 154.5. So we've been pulling back off of there as well. So nice little reversion that potentially started yesterday and is getting some follow through coming into today as well. We can see some sector, some sector rotation, some money moving around potentially as well. While the market was selling off aggressively, I think it was XLV, which was strong. And then I think XLE was also strong. Energy is coming in kind of
if you look at those charts, look at SLV or GLD in the afternoon yesterday. And what was distinctly different when they literally lost a bid technically, and that had to do with the US dollar. And when they start repricing like that rate cut, the chance of the rate cut, it was a really big technical flush and possibly coming back into those levels. All right, so NVIDIA, same level it's turning around at, I'm actually seeing, is that could get up there back into 187. However, Mara is the first thing that's actually on my chart that is setting up a trend break. So not much of the stocks. I'm looking at SMCI. That's not setting up a trend break. I like that on SMCI. Someone asked, why do I like that one? It's just the price action and the patterns. I put that in the chat. But for now, it is Mara that's setting up a clean trend as we go into 25,000 for sure. And then someone just mentioned to me, it's a weird day or a bullish day when a stock like Beyond Meat is going up. So every single time this thing pops, I pay for locates. That simple. It's up 12%, but they're probably going bankrupt. I don't know if it gets all the way to 150. 150 is the level on Beyond Meat, but if it just broke a buck, you could do worse than 125. But it's not free for us at Real Trading. I'll probably pay like 1/3 of 1 cent per share, and I'll go ahead and do that. Now, you just have to be ready in case it gets up to that level. Looking at the quarter first, I don't believe it. Even if the market continues rallying, I believe this one turns around.
All right. So, I think BYND is kind of, have you been keeping eyes on it? That's the question.
Which?
BYND, because I feel like when all the eyes have been taken off and it's not kind of, the bell of the ball anymore. It was a great trade, that exhaustion through 7. But when people take eyes off of some of this stuff, the backside on it is absolutely beautiful. Just straight days of fades, right? So we talk about swing shorts. We'll talk a little bit more about that BYND. We were talking about this morning as well, but right after we get back from Adair.
So what's happening now, as you guys can see, or at least has been happening for the first half hour, is just aggressive buying in this market. We did gap down. We know there's still been some concerns here about AI-related valuations, but today a market deciding they're going to try to, I guess, fade some of that sell-off. I want to mention as well, in 5 minutes, we get a very interesting Fed speaker, Fed Schmid. Now, we know that Fed's Mybrin has actually been a dissenting vote the last 2 meetings. Fed Schmid was a dissenting vote in the most recent Fed meeting, the October meeting, and he actually voted to hold rates steady. So this is someone from whom we can maybe expect a little bit of hawkishness. If there are any comments of note, I'll let you know. But either way here, Fed Schmid set to take the podium. BTC is struggling a bit here. Here is a Coinbase trying to push back up here off these lows, but as Bitcoin lost that 99,000 level yesterday and actually lost 95 as of earlier this morning, a lot of these crypto names going to sell off in sympathy. Let's talk here about TSLA, Tesla weak as well. Generally, it's been selling off more or less since we had that approval of the pay package last week, but we also had some news yesterday. Not likely what moved the stock because it came out while we were already selling. But either way, Tesla recalling their Powerwall 2 AC battery power systems. And AMZU, probably I think definitely the largest market cap earnings play on watch today. They beat on EPS and sales. Guidance was a bit mixed for the next quarter. And Craig Hallam downgrading the stock. Before we send you back to more trading action with Neil and Obi, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends at Origenics. Guys, each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Origenics, or OGEN, is changing that with their first-in-class intranasal drug, designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more. Schedule a meeting today. Back to Neil and Obi, and guys, make sure to like and subscribe.
Yes, sir. And bit of a rollover market, rollover a little bit. Like I said, wait for the first thing that sets up, and you got to take it when it does. Even if the market's going to continue to go higher, if you see a trend like this, I'm going to take it to VWAP pretty much every single time. Only difference, I'm going to leave a third on through the volume-weighted average price on the off chance that we just completely flush. I do think with Bitcoin above 96 and room to 95 or at 96.1, that Mara can get through the volume-weighted average price by the time we get to 95,000. So just going to make sure we leave some on there. Apple finally came in to that 272. Actually didn't even get to 272. Realized, okay, the market's rolling over a bit. Let's scalp some out of this because we didn't get this on the way up. I end up catching it on the way back down. If we lose VWAP, then I jump out. But Apple above 272 was on my list of things that I'd be bullish if it could take that price. So it did, so I'm in the long for that bad boy. We are also getting a trend break in SNDK. I'm just going to leave it on Apple for a second, but SNDK is also finally breaking its trend off at 260. Decent chance. This candle closes underneath that 260. I'll probably jump into that short as well. Give the stop to the high. Same as we usually do around here. And I see the new #1 on the visualizer. Okay. Sean might be at a hockey tournament or going to one, but BBAI is on the radar. Well, there's a trend break. BBAI went green and now is pulling back into the volume-weighted average price. That's a pretty standard parabolic move up, trend break. Maybe look for the volume-weighted average price to hold on here. That's also prior close. So you got confluence with the close and VWAP. And it's already done it. That's the move. That's exactly the move when you get that crazy move or a decent move up off the open. You're just waiting for it to establish a clean trend on whatever time frame you're looking at. Hammer and then play it into the volume-weighted average price.
Yeah, I'm watching this MSTR here, sorry, not MSTR, Micron, as it starts to slow down a little bit at the same time. So we did get that aggressive bid. Market's starting to maybe take a little bit of a pullback here as well. So I started to get involved with this Micron as it chops around this 250. Now 250, a little bit of a key level potentially maybe, but the fact that it's consolidating and chopping around here, it tells me that there may be something interesting, especially after we took a straight beeline all the way up to 250 and we start kind of chopping and churning here as well. So let's see if we can get any sort of a reversion to the mean. VWAP's coming in at what, 243s here as of right now, and the market's taking a little bit of a pullback here. But again, the 15-minute candle, this current 15-minute candle has just started printing. We have 9.5 minutes left still. Ian Rispetto, thank you very much for the super chat, asking, can you look at MSFT? Sure, I can take a quick look at MSFT here. Microsoft, very, I guess, beaten down over the past couple of days here, along with the rest of the market. You can see earnings. Since earnings, we got that aggressive selling, and then back-to-back days with that continuation. Now, we've found a little bit of chop here on top of this 500 mark, but Neil, when it comes to Microsoft, I'm looking at the weekly chart here. So weekly chart, this thing is looking kind of interesting on a higher time frame, bit of a double top wiki action and a consolidation low at 490. So that's the look I have here on Microsoft. If we crack those 490s, that could be interesting, or maybe we revisit some of the supply zone in the 550s on Microsoft. What's going on in there?
As perhaps expected, we do have some hawkish commentary from Fed's Schmidt, who's saying that Fed policy is currently modestly restrictive, which is where it should be. He says that inflation is too hot and the labor market is cooling, which is an issue that a lot of his colleagues have referenced, but that it's actually apparently largely on balance. And he also said that his concerns with regards to inflation go beyond just the tariff issue, because a lot of people are talking specifically about tariff inflation and the legitimacy of that. Fed Schmidt is saying, hey, either way, I have inflation concerns. It is not tariff specific necessarily. So some hawkishness here from Schmidt. Back to you.
Yeah, never forget when we have a bunch of Fed speakers that they can move the markets. But look, the labor market's going to be a bit of a concern. I think one of the things we don't talk about enough is quantitative tightening, which could be a bit of a problem here for the overall market if they do that. That being said, took the second shot in SNDK. That's not going to work. Apple's bouncing, and I missed my reload. Mara is holding fort. So there's something more right about the short in Mara than other names. Like, it's bouncing off VWAP, but it's already fading that bounce. So this seems like the one to stick with, at least for now. But as I just said, I got to slap the fail on myself for missing the bid here on Apple. Like, it came back in. I thought it was headed to VWAP, saw that move down in the market, felt like it was going to actually test into VWAP itself, so was looking for that buy right around the thirds, didn't get it, still haven't blown through like 73s to get to 74s or anything along those lines, right now about 50 pennies in the money. But let's be real, if we're going to go up all day, then there should be multiple opportunities to get into any kind of a long. And yeah, Cheezer, I see that beyond meat. I'm thinking the other way, though. It's at the 125. There's two levels to look at for me. There's 125 and there's 150. So I'm just looking for that one to slow itself down. You just try to take the one shot. For me, it's like take one shot in it. Like when it got to 150 the other day, like this is a real move, and it just kind of fades it the entire time. And it's done that a few times. Like this 150, you just let it get there. Once it tagged it, it was just clean. There wasn't even a green bar until it hit, through the low of the day. So if that happens, I want to be there for it. That's a much easier short than the market. Oh, there's a good Leroy Jenkins. You called 25. I should have said it in the way, but my bad. You called 25K as resistance in NQ. Why long Apple near that? Well, one of the only bullish things I liked was how range-bound Apple had been in two places, like 67 to 72, 72 to 75. So once it showed me, like independently, like once Apple showed me that it's holding the 72 level, I just like long Apple. It's like an over-under kind of price. Like once it shows me buyers above 72, I'm bullish on Apple. So it didn't really matter where the futures were in that particular case. I just was focused on Apple solely when it was holding that price level. That's all. I hope that makes sense to you. That said, if we hold under 25,000, I'm probably likely to scalp this out because I only think I can get 73s. At this point, I'm thinking I can get a bit more than that.
Yeah, I'm watching this. This Micron is some serious chop here as it's pulling back a little bit off of that 250 here. 247's a bit of a churn, so we did kind of break a little bit of structure here. Let me show you guys here on this chart, Micron here. So that's the weekly. That's not the chart that I'm looking for. Let's just take a look at a 3-minute. So that's I usually like to use a 3-minute. You guys can see here I use a 3-minute, but I use other time frames as well. while I'm trading. But 247 is currently trading. 243.30s is VWAP. No idea if we're going to get all the way down there as well. Again, knowing that chips are as strong as they are, Micron could be just consolidating within its upper quartile of the move. It has been a pretty aggressive bid, right? So we could just very well just consolidate here. This is an area from yesterday as well. That's what interested me a little bit more in this area, because we came into this. This has been an area of supply here on Tuesday, as well as Wednesday, as well as Thursday, and we're finally kind of coming back up into here. So it should be interesting if we see this as a bit of resistance once more, or does it continue to stay a little bit of a supply zone? I'm just looking for a bit of a pullback, but maybe that's all that she wrote, right? We got to a high of 251s. We pull back down to 246s. I don't know, but the thing is, the bid has definitely dissipated. The volume has started to drop off as well. But let's see if price sustains. That's the next question. Does volume drop off and price sustain, or does volume drop off and price starts to bleed out as well? So those are two distinctly different kind of scenarios. I'm going to be patient and watch this one as well. Circle kind of just within its opening range, nothing too crazy there. Rigetti's pulling back now as well, so that's interesting. Okay, there comes a Micron, and I got some more covers there into 246s as it pulls back into maybe towards VWAP. So the bid is definitely kind of coming in here, or orders are coming into the bid. Sometimes I get a little jumbled with the words in my head there, but yeah, orders are definitely hitting the bid there on Micron. Let's see if we can get the reversion back down to VWAP. There was a little bit of chop. It was kind of difficult to kind of get in and around that 250, but once you started observing it a little bit there, it was a little clearer that it wasn't necessarily getting back through that 250. Even on a shorter time frame, this retest of that 250, that was a lot of information for me as well, and I did add on after that came in. Here's the thing, I'm not going to get the best prices most of the time there, so I do have to be wary about kind of just staying with the move. That's what I've been realizing, Neil, especially with a VIX this high and the market as volatile as it is. When I see the momentum, I just want to get part of it. Sometimes I'm even being very much price indifferent, because I'm more like the trade isn't price. My risk is the momentum turning the other way.
One thing to consider for the short, what's weird is, I'm going to point out right now, like the shorts have come back in here. Now, Apple failed 273, so I said if it failed 273 at the moment where we're still pulling back from 25,000, I would jump out, but it might actually break out. But what's interesting to me right now is what the VIX is doing, because like you're actually still here. Let me just pull up let's go to like a 5 minute maybe. Like you're only now catching a bit of a consolidative bid, but if we break down, that's like, to me, it means you're bouncing off VWAP if we end up breaking down from here. Like look at the NASDAQ pull back into the volume weighted average price. So as that happens, you got to start thinking, okay, if that bounces, VIX follows through, then your shorts are kind of kaput. Finally got a trend break in SMCI. So we're in it a couple times, well, actually 3 times already, 1 for 3 on it, and the 4th time we're looking for that VWAP retrace. It's kind of getting halfway, which leads me to believe I should get something out before we get to 35. So waited for this to put a topping tail candle, market got to that 25,000, and then I see Bearded Warrior is asking, is there news on UNH? Here's the thing, not that I'm aware of, but this is the kind of morning where if something has a lot of volatility, don't make the assumption that there's something going on with it. Right? Like UNH is down in a market that's bouncing, but then remember the rotation was when tech was selling, that healthcare was strong. So the last couple of sessions, like this has actually been pretty good in the midst of the sell. Then you had yesterday, which was kind of like everything was selling regardless of what it was doing. So don't make the assumption there has to be news, but if there is any, Adara will get it to us.
So there is maybe something to be aware of. It looks like David Tepper's Appaloosa closed a large portion of their UNH position. I'm seeing roughly 92% decrease. They opened this position last quarter. If I see any more on that, I'll let you know. But from what I'm seeing, it looks like that was a significant decrease. And again, 92 is a lot, but Neil, it's not as much as Warren Buffett decreased of his Alta position last year. Gets in, and the next quarter closes 96%.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's a bit of a headline. Although I always find it interesting, like after you find out someone's already sold and the pressure has been mounted or relieved by the fact that they've already sold a bunch of shares, then it goes down even more. People just always following other people. Go Bill saying GEV is very strong. Look, a lot of these, if you were getting beaten up because of the AI quote-unquote bubble, then you should be strong today. And I'd be worried if you were not showing some signs of strength, but not really breaking out. Mike is asking what's up with Merck. So this is actually a really easy story for Merck. Merck's making a huge $9.2 billion acquisition. And a lot of times you will see extra volatility in a name when it has a big deal like that. Sometimes it's to the downside, but this time it's actually going up. I think they like this deal for Merck, but the like $9 billion acquisition announced this morning for them.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about before. I was debating on, getting the reversion either on Micron or AMAT, right? We talked about this. So I was like,
AMAT, yeah.
Micron, definitely a better candidate, and it happened to work out there pretty decently, so got lucky on that one there. But take a look at AMAT here, right? If I had taken a short on this one, look at that, no follow through. The selling did come in, but that was just the initial selling. The buying didn't necessarily dissipate like we saw here. We didn't see buyers continue to attempt at the ask and get kind of stood in front of and get pushed back down. We did not see that on AMAT as well. This continues to grind up. This is a distinct difference in between in these as well. Now, of course, AMAT also has earnings, so that's important to note as well. Might be catching some unusual participants on earnings day one as well. So that all of those factors kind of confluence together. The market's coming back in as well, so that's strong. And AMAT now has even more potential to potentially continue as well. So a nice little consolidation. And this grinding consolidation, I'm finding, Neil, a lot of the time. So I'm trying to isolate stuff that really, stuff that like kicks me down, kind of stuff that's like I have an issue with. And grinding consolidations, grinding price action.
What's a grinding?
So like it's kind of like this. So it's like
I just don't know the term.
You're bidding up. It's kind of barcoding.
Okay.
Like sometimes barcodes range in trend. Barcodes sometimes are flat. Sometimes barcodes are ranging down, trending down as well. So like this barcode action that slowly grinds up, like it'll have aggressive selling. It might get you in. It might get you enticed for the sell, and then buyers step back in. Boom, 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 boom. Grind it right back up, and then boom. Boom, 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 boom. And
well, that's what
kind of like that's big trouble for me.
I was gonna say like that's now I get what you're saying, because that's exactly what's happening at SMCI. Like it's a patented perfect setup, and then the second you get that, it's starting to flush, that's looking good, the buyers ground back in there. Now obviously I tend to keep my stops a little tighter than most, but that sort of is what it is. Like I don't give this to the high of the day when I'm going against the grain, because I'd rather take multiple shots at a level than try to go all in and just get rinsed on one. It's just not my style, to each their own. But it's somehow built differently. I don't understand. It doesn't have to make sense. Like Bitcoin is not breaking out, it's just weak. So for the year, Bitcoin is underperforming the market. This morning, Bitcoin is underperforming the market. As we just get back to that 25,000, we're actually putting in lower highs here on IBIT. I think that's why Mara is continuing to work. So, as I said, try to lean into the things that are working more. I don't know if it'll be VWAP for a continuation here or maybe some other kind of lower high. But as long as Bitcoin is worse than everything else here, this is the one that has to be a bit of the short still. We have a new leader up here? No, we don't. It's still BBAI. I look up, I see Open Door, people are talking about, but BBAI, still the top of the list, everybody, on our stock visualizer. And if you haven't, make sure you jump in the chat. And to jump into the chat, you got to hit the subscribe button. It's a subs-only chat, everybody. So do that first, and then throw some symbols in there. I'm not going to restart it or anything. I want to give the respect to BBAI, Open Door, which we haven't even covered Open Door at all. I haven't even looked at it. Tesla, Micron, we've all mentioned these, SoFi, Beyond Meat. Some of the crypto names, MSTR in there. CDTX, that's another deal. You guys like these. CDTX is the company that Merck is buying. So.
Yeah, isn't that a biotech?
Yeah, it's like a 90% premium. That's expensive, man. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. BBAI is under VWAP and not looking as healthy as before. This feels like it's on the back end. Remember what I was saying about the Mara position, where the market is strong, but it's working its way down? That's what's happening in BBAI as well here. Relative to what's happening. I mean, look at the stock off the open. It's still up from the open, but market's near the high. This is underneath VWAP.
Yeah, I think something I'm watching here as well is SanDisk. SanDisk definitely on watch over the past couple of days with the aggressive move that it's had, especially through earnings as well, catching a very, very strong bid today through that 240 here. Almost back at prior day's highs. Now, yesterday was some aggressive selling. We broke the bid, the multi-day bid there. We got our first good day of selling after 1, 2, 3, 4 consistent days after earnings of straight bidding. So yeah, a bit of a 50% reversion to the mean there, roughly about, I can just eyeball this from this low to that high. That's about a 50% reversion. And somebody in the chat was mentioning Fibonacci's again. So you know what?
Isn't that your favorite indicator?
Is it now? Is it? Oh, by far one of my most. No, I'm joking. Definitely not. But we can use it to measure the 50% here, I guess. So 50% mark is right here. So yeah, so it did revert about 50% and 50% here as well. So I'm going to continue to keep eyes on this one. Bigger picture, definitely of interest. If you just look at the daily chart, if you look at the weekly, what has been happening here? Straight up multi-month bid on SanDisk, writing itself in history here all the way to the upside. Let's go to the weekly and the monthly. Look how clean some of these bars are. Not even a prior bar low break just yet on the weekly. So should be interesting, but seems like it's not in yet. I thought yesterday's selling would bring it in, but I have no idea. Still kind of consolidating, still in that range. What's going on, Adara?
Let's talk about some small caps. We'll start with one that we talked about earlier this week for sure, Amaze Holdings, MAZE. They just reported earnings. EPS down on a year-over-year basis, but sales actually up heavily on a year-over-year basis. That one's a penny stock, as is UTime. Ticker for this one, though, is WTO for some reason. UTime on Wednesday announced a 1-for-100 reverse stock split. Pretty consolidated today, but again, not a ton of small cappers that I could find. This one could certainly be one to watch. And last but not least, OPE. And again, this one in the $1 billion market cap level, so not a huge small cap. But as Neil has discussed, it's been really strong basically this whole week. And OPE and no exception today, pushing back a little bit now. But we knew that earlier this week. Kaz Nejati, and new CEO of the company, announced that he and his family purchased a $1 million block of shares as of one of these pre-market sessions, I believe Tuesday or Wednesday. Before we send you back to Neil and Obi, we'll take a moment to thank our friends at Trade the Pool. Because guys, for too long, trading meant risking your own money. You're never having enough to start. The fear of losing. That's kept traders on the sidelines, but that's changing because Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the market. With its limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. When you hit that profit target, you keep 70% of the profits. That means no fear and no barriers, just real opportunity. That's the revolution of limited risk trading powered by Trade the Pool. Just visit tradethepool.com or scan that QR code now and get 10% off your first evaluation. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. I say discipline, discipline, and more discipline. That's what it's all about. The thing about discipline is like it's not about having a stop or having an out. It gets more about having an idea of when I get into the trade, like what does it mean to be wrong in the trade? And if that happens, then I'm no longer in the trade. Because it doesn't have to be, okay, well, if this line hits, I'm going to put a stop order in there. Like some people like to work at different, I use stop orders. That's just me. We did get a couple of super chats, and I think we missed one. Mike, I see yours, but I don't know if that's not the one I was thinking of, but there is another one. So we'll get, first of all, Sean Connery, LOL. The greatest James Bond of all time. Where's Joe? Not even close. I can't do an impression. Who said, get the hell, get out of here with the fail. I could put a poll up right now, and even if Sean Connery wasn't #1 for the top Bond, Joe, it certainly wouldn't be Pierce Brosnan that you think of. He'd be so far down the list that it wouldn't be worth thinking about. So we can get that out of here, first of all. We can get back to a stock-related.
Okay, yeah, this guy. Yeah, that guy was sick.
What do you mean?
That guy's the classic. He is the guy. He's the guy. Dude, I have a boxed DVD set of all the 007s, I think I haven't watched all of them.
You for real?
Yeah. But I've seen some of the older ones. They're absolutely dope. So I'm horrible with like names, but in terms of like visual memory, I'm like, yeah, I know that guy. I recognize.
I told people I'm a huge Bond fan. At my wedding, the entire the soft dinner music that's playing.
Oh yeah, it's Bond music.
It was just all of the Bond themes like on low,
nice.
And one of the best parts of the night was when one of my buddies was a big Bond fan. Like he's sitting down, and he's just eating food, and then he turns to, and I'm watching. He turns to his wife and he goes, and he does one of those. He says something, and then he goes like that, and he looks at me, he just points, and I'm like, you figured it out. That's what it's all about. We had another super chat. It was about Netflix, I believe.
Okay.
Why the massive Netflix sell-off?
Okay.
Okay, I'll admit. First of all, I didn't realize Netflix was selling off. I'm not even watching. Okay, my personal opinion is 1140 broke, and that's technical. 1140 was a really big level for Netflix the other day. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it sucks. Because I know this because this is where it broke out. And we were talking about that 1140 break. I know that sucks. I like Netflix, but you needed to hold that level pretty key. Also, it's going to be losing the 200-period moving average. So it feels like it's a technical breakdown. It's also one of those names that has been a little bit stronger at times when some of these, like, I guess, AI names have been weak. So, yeah, it could just be that. I wasn't aware of a particular headline there. But you don't want this stock closing underneath the 200-period moving average. Yeah, the split. Oh, by the way, also the split is effective, I mean, today, but on Monday it'll be trading. Oh, yeah, Mondays will be trading cheaper. Okay, yeah. Maybe there's some sell the news on that, I guess. Yeah. That could be it. That sucks. I didn't realize that happened.
It's definitely doing relative volume today. Like, remember I said in the morning, I'm like, any Meg 7 or any of the large caps doing anything above, like, even, you know what, I have some alerts that are much lower than 2 times relative volume, because you can put in relative alert volumes, and sometimes, man, in the pre-market session, sometimes while I'm waking up, or even before I've woken up, I've already have all of these relative volume alerts on the Mag 7s being like, hey, if this is doing relative volume, maybe you want to keep eyes on, especially if it's doing it in the pre-market session. And Netflix in the pre-market session doing over 2 times relative volume, strong selling coming in off of the open, and strong continuation as well. So 1,107.17 cents is the day low on Netflix. But you can see it's just coming into some of these levels that we saw on Monday. So strong bid for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday as well. But we've given it all back this morning's session. So the question becomes, is that buying going to step in at all at any time today? We've made a bit of a low, and we've bid up about $10 roughly off of there. The question becomes, is this poised for a bit of a reversion? The volume is not really necessarily falling off. We see these strong spikes in sell volume right here on the 3-minute chart as it gradually kind of bleeds off, but it's overall kind of sustained. We're not really seeing that kind of dissipation to say here as much as I'd like to see. If the volume really falls off and we turn, that's fine as well. There goes the market through that 25,000 mark on the NASDAQ. Bit of a magnet. I was
going to say, we're through that. The second that happens, well, I didn't punch out Amara. I punched out not SoFi, SMCI. It tried to pull back. About the best it got was to 35.4, and then we just broke out the top again. So there's been a couple of red candles that allow you to get a little bit out, then we just blow through. Mara, for the first time, is coming back into the high. So this one, which worked into VWAP, wanted to give it a chance to go. Made sure we held on to this. It was the only thing that was clean working to the downside. So I still want to give it a chance to hold the stop. For now, it is not breaking up, but I feel like that's only a matter of time before it does happen. And thank you very much there. We got another super chat. I just wanted to go to this name first, and we will look at BE in a quick little second. Bloom Energy, always a mover. But Palantir just went green. The things that fell the furthest and the fastest, if we hold 25,000, feel like the names that'll be the best for a second leg. So Palantir would be in that bucket. You remember, 2 days ago, we were at $192 on this stock. Yesterday at the open, we were $182. So this move right now, it looks big, but if we hold 25K, it's not that big. I want to keep that in mind. And then we can look at Bloom Energy. Thank you for the super chat. You can always holler at us. Sometimes you can just, like, a lot of people will do this. and you just add us, and then I see all of those. There's an NQ above that 25,000. Meta's gone green, as people are saying to me, and that makes it really easy. But we can look at Bloom, which has gone Bloom, for lack of a better expression. This stock, if we talk about things that are structurally cool, this is a structurally cool setup. That being said, if you look at any kind of a trend that I were to draw, even if you were to pull back, like even if we bounce here, right? Like if you look at when it did this hefty pullback, that's where I'd start the first trend line. Even with a bounce, it needs to clear 118. These are the things that sometimes, is it still bullish just because it held the 50-period moving average? It's in the no man's land after a big turn and went way too parabolic. So I don't, until you break 118, you got yourself a bounce. Like I'd be scalping out of that one instead of holding, because to me, you've still broken the trend. And one day of bounce, right before the open, you heard me say I care more about what we do on Monday than what we do today. Just because the market's trying to go green today, even if it gets green. Heck, yesterday I was like voting that the market was green at the close. And even I still won short today. I think Monday matters more. I think we'll find more about this market and whether this is an actual bounce that can sustain Monday morning more so than today. But that's just my 2 cents. Usually when we get these kind of moves, Friday is a bit of a chop fest. We'll see if we can even hold on to the gains by the afternoon. And then Monday morning, that's when you know the goods.
Yeah, the BE, I'm just pulling it up as well, man. Absolute strength on the day today. But yeah, bigger picture, that's a good point out. We've been kind of selling off aggressively for a decent chunk of the week. So do we see some reversion? Well, it came in today. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all strong red days. Does it make sense that we're straight up green today? Yeah, I think so. Bigger picture, that kind of balance is coming in here. Maybe too oversold on the weekly and catching a bit of a bounce here on Bloom Energy. So yeah, blooming to the upside off of the open. Bigger picture, still well within range here as well. So, okay, so random sandals with the super chat here. Who is the best 007? I think Neil can better answer this question.
Connery.
Should be the first question at a job interview. If the applicant doesn't answer Connery or Craig, then the interview should end right there. They're obviously underqualified.
Yes. I mean, why even comment on a perfect super chat? Thank you so much.
Oh, hey.
What up, Joey? Oh, this is a good one, Hamster. Yeah, that's a good point. Where is it? Hamster, explain to them Friday is market makers option plays and not real. Yeah, so... Well, it's not, they call it not real.
What does that mean?
But that's not the way that I would frame it. But you have a lot of price action on a Friday, which simply has to do with essentially the options market settling itself, right? So a lot of the money that gets traded, especially at the open, like in this first hour or two, really might not actually reflect like the overall direction of institutional money for the next like month or so, or like what we think about the next move in the market. It just has more to do with a lot of options expiring. So let's be, I mean, it's not to say that price action doesn't matter on a Friday. It's just that I put more weight to it when we start next week. There's something actually happening Monday, news-wise, that's big. Like the big thing happening next week is on Wednesday, I believe. NVIDIA earnings are on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
That's what matters. I mean, let's be real. If NVIDIA doesn't give us the goods, we're in trouble. Like this report needs to be good for NVIDIA. And it's only up 0.3. Like look at yesterday's range. How good does anybody feel that this is automatic, that we're holding green here? Like we're still teetering that 25K. So I'm still in the one short that is not breaking the top, and I'm still waiting for a chance for reversion. Like we could still close this 15-minute bar rejecting this. We haven't really formed a good trend on a 15-minute for the NASDAQ, but we're still not that far away from breaking away from 25,000 in the wrong direction. For now, it looks like it's strong.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, man. Like, NVIDIA needs to perform well if we want to continue to see what it's like.
Say the least.
Continue doing what it's been doing. But the thing is, I look at the yearly, right? This is just the yearly. This is a weekly chart on the yearly. I have it measured from the opening week, January, first week of January, to the current price. Right now, we are up roughly about 26% on the year on NVIDIA. right? If you're talking from the lows to the highs, yeah, sure, that's almost double. That's more. That's a lot more. But just from the open, say you got in at the open, you're holding it right now. You're up about 26% on your position now. If you ask me, do we have room to the downside? I think of course. Like we're making. If you look at this on a yearly, we've made a bottom wick. We're starting to make a top wick. The question becomes: is this setting up as a doji on the year with only a couple of months left? Right? Let's just take a look at a 12-month chart here and see how we're ending off. Because right there, a little bit of a, top wick, bottom wick. But if you look at a 12-month chart here, Neil, on NVIDIA, what does this chart tell you? What does this 12-month chart tell you on NVIDIA? Line go up? I don't know. Range? Yeah, for sure, well within range. But like I was kind of studying charts that kind of make their way to market leader status. Over time, a lot of these companies and a lot of these stocks, they have struggles. They have serious pullbacks. They have, 50, 60% pullbacks sometimes along the way as well. So the question becomes, if NVIDIA is really the leader of the future, and we're saying that AI is just in its infancy, the question becomes, what is the volatility range on this on the bigger picture? I think we're well within range of pulling back aggressively or even continuing aggressively. I'm not bullish or bearish to say the least. I'm just saying the range is definitely, like, if we drop down 10, 15, 20% on earnings, that's well within range. Look at what we've done all year long.
And actually, I'm not sure that we do.
Volatility this year is,
I'm not sure that we do. Like NVIDIA has been moving like that off of earnings. Yeah. I think, whoops, oh, that's right. The last candle when I zoom out from that pre-split, but I think it might be more muted than you expect on the day. But the continuation after the fact might be a little bit violent. Like that's where my head's at with NVIDIA. Like it's been a chop fest around this price, so I could see us chopping it up on Wednesday and maybe even to an extent of that on Thursday, and then maybe establish direction after that. But if you're at the 200-period moving average, like to me, some powder was dry by selling some AMD for the opportunity to potentially buy this one back at the 200-period moving average. Like that'd be a good one to have. But we'll see. I mean, all roads at the end of the day, long term, tend to lead higher. It's just a matter of what you like the most. Some people think these guys will tank on earnings. I don't hope that they will tank, but I will have a stink bid for the days after. That's for sure. So it was probably that whole 25,000 thing, and then Apple failing ended up being wrong because even when we're underneath 25,000, Apple kept going up. But I did say if we fail the high and the Nasdaq closed some under the 25,000, I'd jump out of the trade. And now we're continuing to go higher. But this is the name that I liked long. So as long as we hold 25K, I'm going to look to buy dips in Apple for now. Strong rebound in the morning's market. That being said, we have seen this story before. You want to make sure you're still getting in and not just blindly buying into things as bullish as we're looking. Tesla trying to break 400.
400, man. I literally was just calling out 400.
But that's not even yesterday. That's not even the afternoon high from yesterday. No. That's 404. And then you start thinking about the open range high. That's 415. Like all of these prices, even if you get back to them, how good does it really look to you? Do you feel better about Tesla just because we get back to here? It's not even bullish unless it's back above 420 or 430. Like that's what's crazy about this.
Yeah. No, I think it's Tesla's shown us the kind of range, and I've spoken on Tesla on this aspect before as well. It's if you look at just the price action, kind of have been following along the story of how Tesla got to where it is today. From a price action perspective, I think it's a stair-step squeeze. It's a textbook stair-step squeeze, like stair-stepping price action, squeezing every time we kind of break out. Absolutely beautiful, but we'll talk a little bit more about that right after you get back from Adara.
I want to start with some news. Keep an eye on JP Morgan. A couple minutes ago, U.S. President Donald Trump shared a post on Truth Social in which he listed a number of people and institutions that he would like the Department of Justice to look into with regards to potential relationships with Jeffrey Epstein. One of those institutions is JP Morgan. So keep an eye here on JP. I'm not moving too much, but potentially something to be aware of. And if I get details, I'll keep you posted. I want to talk here about the sector map because finance here, speaking of JPM, is actually weak across the board. And one of the, I think, the most notably weak-looking sectors. Health tech also really red, though Eli Lilly really trying to hold up. Merck doing well as well, announcing that acquisition of Sedera Therapeutics this morning. Producer manufacturing, a little bit mixed. GEV strong, but LRCX and earnings day one play AMAT are relatively weak. Consumer services weak, consumer non-durables weak, health services, commercial services, utilities, lots of weakness. Tech, though, really trying to recover here. I mean, you've got like Intel still red, Netflix still very much red, but across these sectors, there's some notable strength in Arista Networks, Micron, Oracle, Palantir, and even Microsoft. So mixed play in a lot of these tech names, but I think some of the most directional sectors here are going to be finance, producer manufacturing, and consumer non-durables. Back to you.
Yes, as always, thank you, Adara. So another setup is coming in here. Just got to wait for it. Left a bit on board of Mara for the run back into the high. Bounced all the way to VWAP. Was holding for the low of the day. We break the top, I'm out. If we hold the top, I look for the trend break to jump back into the trade, or reload the trade is the best way to put it, because I haven't really gotten out of all of it as this market continues its curl higher. What's interesting about this, at least to me, is, you know, it's like Bitcoin. We've been making higher highs for a while in the NASDAQ and ES2, and you know, Bitcoin's just kind of holding the high. That's why it's the one thing that I stayed in. Like, the way I look at it is you should only like constantly be in the thing that is holding the trend or holding true to what you were looking for as a trade. Everything else, if it's not, then you should be jumping out of it for sure. But we did have a good question that I wanted to get to, and that was Rivian Millionaire. Probably don't want to look at Rivian today. Actually, you might want to look at Rivian today. What date or when date are you guys releasing your teaching programs? So if you're asking about the Academy, then right now there's no firm release date, but we're looking at possibly as soon as December. So that's the idea. So if anyone that's been following, you know that we trade on a prop floor, and that we have software that we were trained on and a training program that everybody follows here at Real Trading, where Sean and I, you know, years and years ago, I won't say how many, started as traders. Well, the Academy is about getting the same learning process, both learning the basics in the market, you know, order entry, your platform, market structure, market rules, trading psychology, the imbalance, okay, literally everything. We talk about imbalances, we talk about halts. Like, everything that you would need is the basics for trading, which we always talk about here, but is going to be available. So right now, it's loosely looking as early as December. There isn't a firm date on it. Thank you for asking, Rivian Millionaire. And only because we just mentioned your name, why not look at Rivian? Oh, this kind of sucks. You know, I was really hoping for everyone that likes Rivian's sake that this would be breaking out. You see the NASDAQ about to go green, and there's a seller here holding. This is very similar to what I see on Bitcoin and Mara, where like this is like it's hanging on as like the one remaining short because it's not breaking out the top. It's still setting up a resistance level. That's exactly what Rivian's doing. Doesn't mean it can't break out. Maybe this is just a late breaker, and you wait for that to happen, and you can hammer that one to the long side. That said, Rivian was so strong recently that I suppose the buyers aren't as enthusiastic to come back in. But if you break that top, there's a bit of a gap fill scalp here. Like if you take out 1588, you get in there, grab yourself 15, 20, 30 cents, which is great. Like, think about this. On a $16 stock, that break to here is almost 2%. Like, as a trader, that's how you have to think about it. Like, it's a 2% little vacuum if this catches up with the rest of the market. That's not bad at all. They're on Rivian. Not that you're interested in Rivian Millionaire, but for anybody that might be.
Yeah, something that just caught my attention as of right now is Circle, and that is ripping to the upside. So I was watching it a little bit earlier. The market is aggressively strong, 403s on Tesla. So I was like, 400 could be a bit of an interesting level. And we chopped it for a few minutes, and then now blowing right past it as the market continues to push even higher here. So let's take a quick look at Circle because that's what's catching my eye as of right now, about to push through its day highs as well. So it was sold off pretty aggressively. Chop, 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 barcode between 82s and 81.50s for about, what is this, 45 minutes. Aggressive bid. I don't even know if this is any sort of a news catalyst or anything like that. It's not, the volume signature isn't really there.
Baird upgraded them this morning.
Okay, so they did get some upgrades this morning, but this bid just now at 10:30, just coming in very aggressively after this consolidative hold. It seems like, Neil, there was a bit of a held offer here at 82s, and when that held offer gets taken out, we are just off to the races all the way back through the opening range highs. Pre-market highs at 85.85. Currently trading at 84.95s here on Circle, making a full circle of its price action on the day today. But another name that has been selling off pretty aggressively, right? Earnings day 3 is the name today. So day 1 sold off, closing near day lows. Day 2 sold off, closing near day lows. Today, sellers come in pretty aggressively off open, but we cannot really get distinctly past prior day's closing prices, and a beautiful reversion coming in with alongside the rest of the market as of right now here on Circle. Didn't really have any trades on this as of right now, but Apple coming in, the market's coming in. So where are the longs? I was only taking shorts today, Neil, and it seems like I was very wrong on that. Got to find where the next trade is.
Man, you could be like, I had a long, but I was still wrong on it.
Yeah, no, it's not about being right or wrong or like being green or red. I'm just saying I was wrong on the dominant idea today. Right? I did take my short scalps. Like, those are fine. I'm not, you know.
Well, Glaze just said Apple 260. That's oddly specific. Glaze in the chat saying 276.81 as a target. Why that price? That's not even yesterday's high. The high is like 276.70 from yesterday. That's a very, very specific price. I'd say possible. Like, you're rounding it. There hasn't been a dip since we broke that 25,000. There hasn't really been a dip to get into. So I'm not really, at this time of day, I'm not buying any highs. It's just not my cup of tea. If I get along, it'll be this one on a, I think, eventual dip. It almost has to. Rigetti is still going ham. Look at that one off the volume weighted average price. Oh, because that's what he bought it at? I don't know. Well, then even, okay, that's also kind of random too. That's entirely possible. Anytime I see a price, well, my first thought is, well, maybe there's a key level that I'm not aware of, so I go check it out, right? Well, you always have to be willing to learn. If you're hollering at a price, then I want to know the reason you like that price. Maybe I do, maybe I don't, but I could see something that I'm not seeing before, and I'm always open to that. So there was never a good reload setup. You can make the argument on Mara that you had this topping tail candle to jump into it. I just, you know what, call it a gut feel. Most times I'm in this short, but then I looked at the buying that was coming in tomorrow on the subsequent candle and decided not to take it. So I end up not reloading that short. I'll wait very, very patiently for this to either break trend or get to 13 bucks. Otherwise, there's not going to be anything for that short again on Mara. However, and when I'm at something, then I go into something else. And that's that Beyond Meat. So remember Beyond Meat, what do we say, $1.25? It went to $1.23. That's pretty close, and now trying to put in a double top. If it rejects a lower high, then you know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to look short underneath that particular high. Might not even get this Apple. And oh yeah, the other thing I was mentioning was Rivian. If Rivian breaks out, which it is right now, I'm taking that scalp long.
Yeah, I'm looking at this breakout here on potentially on Micron Micron as well. Micron came right back to its highs there, Sharif. Yeah, beautiful strength in this market. VWAP couldn't really get all the way down to VWAP, so I liked the short initially on the 250 back through, but if you're going to rip all the way back up after looking that weak, guess what? Definitely there's going to be participants that are a little bit offside. Now just looking for the price action to follow through and give us that confirmation as well here on Micron. Market super strong as well. Do we get that follow through? Is it going to be clean? I don't know. Probably not, but I'm watching some Micron right now. What's going on, Adara?
Yeah, we have a couple news stories that this market does not really seem to be reacting specifically to any of them, but I want to mention them because they all focus on specific tickers. We'll start here with JP Morgan. CNBC reporting that the company has won its fight with some of these fintech firms over paying fees in order to access customer data. Affirm not really moving on this. PayPal, SoFi. Those are all the different plays you could check with regards to this story, and they're ones that actually pushed lower initially. But yeah, again, it looks like that JP Morgan Chase has won its fight with these fintech firms with regards to fees in order to access customer data. Keep an eye on Pinterest as well. This one also not really reacting here, but I'm seeing reports suggesting that Saudi's PIF fund has dissolved their stake in Pinterest. Back to you.
I don't think that's what it is, but maybe, I don't know. Oh, okay. I thought it was like a drink. Okay.
I don't know what Sharif and Obi are talking about right now.
No. It's the opposite of what? I don't know. Sharif's cracking up. No, I honestly thought it was something else, and then I thought it was a drink.
Okay, so first of all, no, because the viewers need to know what was going on just now.
Yeah.
Sharif turns to Obi and says, "Are you trying that?"
Have you tried that Maui Wowie?
Okay, have you tried that Maui Wowie? To which my brain went to a certain place, which was apparently wrong. I think you all can guess what that was. And I still have no idea what they were talking about, by the way.
No, I mean, I don't know. I was just like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I thought it was a drink. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I've tried a Maui Wowie, but no, it might be a little.
But that's what I guessed. You said it's green. That's what I thought you.
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry. So if that's what you said, you're right.
Of course. You say Maui Wowie. I know what's up.
Listen, man, the only drug I'm getting high on is this market right now, and the market is definitely getting higher and higher with this bid, pushing through that 25,000, man. That's my drug of choice right here, the NASDAQ and ES and constituents thereof. Yeah, 252s here on Micron, potentially pushing once again. It is not clean. It's a little choppy, but a little bit of offside is what I'm looking for here. And Tesla, aggressive, 405s now, Neil. This thing continues to push up. We tried the short off of the open. Didn't really, well, the short worked, but the price action didn't because it continued to the upside. Tried once more. Didn't try again on the third one, but that finally breaks through that 400. 405s coming in with absolute market strength, pretty much wiping back what we did in the overnight session here as of right now, but still a lot more ways to go if we're going to recover some of yesterday's price action as well. So about a 50% retracement of yesterday's plus the overnight session selling that we've got here on the NASDAQ. So interesting area that we're coming into, and it might confluence with this area with that 25,000 as well. So I got eyes on, I'm closely watching this. Where's the next trade? That's what I'm watching as well. Things are aggressively strong. If you were taking the long, I think the morning session or earlier on in the morning session, even some of the VWAP holds that we got around 10:15, 10:30, those were the places to get involved for this second leg here as well. So we saw that wick action of that 25,000 on the NASDAQ and then pull back into 24.9s and then rip right back in. So a nice consolidation and continuation action happening here on the markets. Coming in, I was just like, okay, are we going to see aggressive selling coming into the day today? Not really, man. Coming into the day, yes. Off the open, absolutely not, because that bid is still very long and strong as of right now, carrying a lot of this market on its back. So strong week of selling, some reversion coming in at the end of the week, Neil.
It seems like it, and looks like some reversion coming to the one thing that has worked pretty well, and that's going to be Mara, because Bitcoin is still underneath and not really going crazy. A little of a fake out at the highs just there. So a little fake out, broke the highs, jump out, break the trend again, jump back in. I'm just looking up to make sure, well, I know what just happened in Beyond Meat. You know this stock, it doesn't care what the market does. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, if it puts in a lower high, I'm going to take it short. The second I tried to hit that bid of support, you can already see it dropping back. I'm going to leave it in there. Maybe they pick me up at 18, but try to hit that bid. Was this? No, it's not SSR. Yeah, so it's not why I missed the fill. Anyways, going to see if we can sit there at 118, kind of give it to that high and pull back in there. I think we're getting a little bit of a potential dip and trend break on Apple. I'm treating this as an opportunity to potentially get into a dip, break this trend, look for a support level to come in either 73 or VWAP, and then jump back into that trend. No breakout trade yet on Rivian, but if Tesla keeps on doing what it's doing, I think the sympathy break is almost inevitable. Just watch out, because we're about to go to money talks, and Tesla, as strong as it is, it's only now gotten to afternoon resistance. Like, it's it. We're at yesterday afternoon's resistance level, and this just went green. Let's go to Adara, see how the US dollar is doing, come back and figure out, well, I already know. What's for lunch?
U.S. dollar actually having quite a good day. I've discussed this yesterday, I believe. We have these nice runs up, multi-day runs up in the DXY. Then we have these pushes back down, and then it repeats the cycle. So to put it plainly, we're still in an uptrend from the U.S. dollar from when we made this base on September 17th, or in other words, the FOMC meeting for September 2025. Now, speaking of the FOMC, we have to talk about the CME Fed Watch tool, because Sean and I were discussing this in the recap. He and I also both discussed it during the day as well. We're about 50-50 split with regards to if we're getting a Fed rate cut on December 10th. That is less than a month away, and the more Fed speak we get, the more that these Feds seem to be A, kind of split, and B, not really sure how they're feeling yet with regards to that rate decision. Fed Schmidt said that he's still considering if he wants to go for that December cut. We also know that he voted against the cut in October, so he's already known as of right now for being a little bit more hawkish than his peers. The overwhelming concern here is going to be labor market data. So if we can get some kind of employment data ahead of the Fed meeting, as I've said yesterday, I believe that's probably the most likely thing to potentially influence. But either way, we're 50-50 right now, and we don't have any data today. We just have a lot more Fed speak. Stay tuned later in this afternoon as well, because before the end of the day, we're going to get Fed's Logan and Fed's Bostic. Back to you.
Rich Buddy says, so much for the accuracy of the prediction markets. Well, we'll find out, because the prediction markets differ from what the Fed rate tool is saying. And I think that's a good thing for traders, ultimately, because it'll create more volatility, potentially. When more uncertainty creates more volatility. But it might not be the best thing here for the markets. Only about 4 minutes to go. We throw you to Mr. Maui Wowie and Joey Options over there. And I have a good feeling about the lunch today.
Okay.
A pretty good feeling. Because the last time we had this, it's not sandwiches, Assassino.
I wish.
That was just Andre in my ear. It's not sandwiches. However, it is a beef fajita. Mexican rice, diced tomatoes, sour cream, green onions, shredded cheese with a corn salad. It's kind of, you can't really screw that up very much. You really can't. It's hard to screw that up. It's usually pretty good. It should be pretty good. It'll always be about the portions. That's all. Am I going to still be hungry? Probably. After I eat, we get a salad. We'll usually get that on the side. We're all just happy it's not beef stroganoff or tilapia.
Dude, no, the beef stroganoff is not bad. I don't know why you guys hate on the beef stroganoff. It's good. Not bad at all.
First of all, no, it is not that good. But no, it's not that good.
You guys are way too picky about your food. Y'all never been hungry before.
Oh, we got a super chat that I wanted to get to from Scuba Scoots. You know what's hilarious? I can't even. Sean and I went to high school together. One of our buddies in our football pool, his nickname in school, we called him Scuba Vicky. He's on the swim team. We used to clown him for being on the swim team. And you know what? I probably shouldn't tell the full. There's more to it, but it's probably not cool. He'd be mad at me. So shout out to Scuba Scoots. MGRX, a false 8K. Will the broker unwind? Okay, so first of all, I don't know the story. Here, so what is the
false 8K?
Is this company really called Mangoceuticals?
Mangoceuticals?
Yes, this company is actually called Mangoceuticals. It's regardless of what the story with this stock, I immediately like it because of the name. I love mangoes. That's fantastic, but this looks really, really bad. Do you have a story on this, Adara?
So there is, and it's kind of a weird one. So we know, and I just want to preface this with the fact that we know these weight loss drug companies, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, every single time we get some kind of talk about, any of these like Hims and Hers, MGRX, being like over offering our products, then we have Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk coming out and saying, we don't know her. So that happened. I mean, it doesn't impact the fact they're offering the products. They always just want to make it very clear, we are not affiliated with the company. More or less, they announced that they're offering the products, and then Eli Lilly and Novo said, we don't know you. So it's the same thing that happened with Hims and Hers, but with a much smaller company, more or less.
Gotcha. Thanks for that update. Yeah, this looks pretty bearish to me too. Look at the rejection candle yesterday, then the flat bottom break, the attempted bounce to get back and fill the gap, the absolute, I shouldn't say the failure, but it did reject filling that gap here and putting in a lower high. Could also break trend, but no volume, 1.7 million shares in volume. It's easy to say, well, then why would you like Beyond Meat which is a similar setup over that. Well, Beyond Meat's done 85 million shares worth of volume, and that one's done 1.7 million shares of volume. That breaks all ties. One of the things that I always say in day trading is you don't want to practice or develop or work on a strategy that is not scalable. Like whatever you do as a trader, especially as a day trader, you want it to be a setup or a strategy that you can scale. So sometimes if it's trading like a penny stock, in this case it's a really cheap stock, then you're going to trade the ones and develop on them that are 80 million shares or 100 million shares over the ones that are 1 or 2 million shares. Which ones do you think you can scale up and which ones can't you? So that'll break the tie for me personally, but I'm not even in Beyond Meat. I did re-enter the trade into Mara. Whoops, why was that getting rid of that? That was this trend line that broke. So re-entered the trade into Mara when it broke. Prior bar is the out. VWAP is the target. I will again take only 2/3 out of it. Want to see if this one can follow through just because of the relative weakness that this name has. So with only about, oh shoot, it's already 11 o'clock.
It's already 11. That Micron break, man.
Pull up Micron.
I mean, I have it right here. So
where is it? Oh,
right
there it is.
So right here.
Go to Obi Stretch for a second.
Look at this. Look at this breakout. So I took the initial push, and then I saw this consolidation. I'm like, okay, I'm not necessarily in full size just yet, but trying to make good decisions here as well. Consolidates in the upper quartile after kind of pulling all the way back down to VWAP. Consolidates above this structure here where the strong selling came in for that VWAP push, and then now pushing even higher.